Hello, my name is Joseph Foster, and today I'm going to do a presentation regarding the old world, melted buildings, and other various structures. I'm going to be focused in mainly Czechoslovakia and Germany and Algeria today. So, let's get going. Just before we start, in remembrance to the children killed by U.S. bombs. Today, over 67 children will be found dead in Gaza. Many more will be found in Lebanon, and even more will be found in Yemen. Even more will never be found because they were vaporized. Some will slowly die an agonizing slow death all alone from their wounds because a building collapsed on top of them. All alone. We are all complicit, we are all accountable. We may not have dropped the bomb, but we sure as hell didn't stop it from being built. Those children will be allowed in God's kingdom. I can't say the same for us. So, as we're starting here, this is a very good example of what I'm going to be covering in this section. So, as you can see, this was obviously a building at one point, and this looks like a mountain. So it looks like a building carved into the mountain. But what if it was a mountain carved from a building? And now, why I say that is because in the old world, there was many resets. Some by water, some by fire, and some by various other types of means. And this is an example of a melted structure. So this whole mountain right here, in my beliefs, was all one building. Okay? And whichever weapons they were using back in the old world from the sky to melt these structures were very... They wouldn't melt certain parts of the structures, but they would, like, you could see how this is melted more, a lot more than this right here. These weapons were kind of like, I believe it's the way they aimed them, where they could completely fry an area and completely leave an area like almost untouched. It's just very, very amazing technology they had in the old world. And I know that sounds hard to believe, but trust me, I'll get you there. These are other examples. Like, as you can see, front of this building looks like it was carved into the mountain, but I believe it's just this is all a building that was melted around here, but this right here was preserved. It's almost like they wanted to melt everything else except right here. Maybe to leave our civilization some clues of what happened. Or this was just carved out of this. It's one of the two. Which one, I don't know. Now this is another pretty good example of, this was obviously a building. And you can see right here where it melted all together, and where it kind of melted right here, where it just was almost there but not quite. Here you can see that this structure right here was, it looks like it was melted because all the doorways are uneven, all the floors are uneven, everything's uneven. And all my people in construction, including myself, I was a contractor for years, and you don't build a structure like this. Whether you're carving it out of stone or not, that's not how you do things. You have things level and you have things symmetrical. You don't build things like this. It's not how it works. Right here is a place in Algeria where there's there's stairs, there's columns, and this was probably a remnant of an ancient city of some sort. This is probably the only piece of it that still survives today. This was a really cool photo. I'm sorry for the blurriness, but right here, you can see that this was obviously part of a building. And this is all that's left of it, right here. You see the 90-degree angles? Like, that corner and that corner? Really amazing. So you can tell that this was all part of something bigger at one point. This is another good example of the melted buildings, melted in the mountains. As you can see, that this used to be a structure that was melted. This was really cool. This is just some ancient stairs that go down, and this is an ancient building that looks like it was destroyed, and that was the only piece of it surviving. This right here is very, 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 very old, and the reason I say that is these bricks here aren't even cut symmetrically. So either they were building this in a hurry, or it was built before they really had saws and had all that stuff. So this was probably built short after one of the resets. I can't say which one, but it's very, very old. This right here is another really good example. You can see all this around this right here is all melted. I mean, it's obvious as can be. To me, it is at least. And this part right here is surviving. It's not melted really at all. Definitely got heated up though. I'll tell you that much. But it's not. It's not melted. Beautiful. I love these. This fascinates me. It's really fascinating. This is another really good example. As you can see, these used to be intact buildings, and now they're just melted into the mountain. Well, the buildings melted into a mountain, as I should say. Same right here. Like, look at all these entranceways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it's just, I can't imagine what this place looked like before it got melted. God, I can't even imagine. It's probably massive. This one's really, really cool. Like, you can see just the absolute detail and just a perfect building. The perfect construction. Then you see all this melted building around it. All this was one giant building at one point. I think in the old world, not the last civilization, but civilization before that, I believe they built cities as one building. So they would build a whole city as one building. I believe they did that in a lot of places because I believe these mountains are ancient cities that are just melted together. This was really, really interesting. Okay, so this is a pyramid type structure. And I believe... Sorry about that. I believe each one of these is, like, each one of these layers about 30 foot high. So I believe this structure to be almost 300 feet tall. It's pretty amazing. I don't know the backstory of the structure. I still haven't found anything on it, really. I'm going to do some more research into this one, though. Really interesting. This is an old world building, obviously flooded out. I'm not sure how that flood came. It might be behind a dam, or it might just be in the ocean, just sticking out. This right here is in Algeria. This is the Barbary Coast. And this is old ruins of a city along the coastline. Really interesting. And as you can see, this city was secluded. Which a lot of these Algerian cities, ancient ones, are so secluded. It'll be a city, then nothing around for miles. It's just amazing. You got this right here, which you see all the lines. The layers of... Sorry, I'm just getting used to doing this. The layers of what they call sediment, which I don't believe it's sediment at all. I believe it's layers of building, layers of construction. I believe it was melted. Algeria and the Barbary Coast. This next section will be dedicated to Algeria and the Barbary Coast. This is, see this fort? I believe this fort is extremely ancient. I believe it was built for a war, because you can see the gun portals, or not portals, the gun slits, whatever. I can't remember the technical name for them right now. But anyway, this is where you'd aim your gun out of for people rushing the fort from the outside. And guys, they had guns in the old world. Okay, guns are nothing new. We've had guns for thousands of years. They don't want to tell you that, but the old world had a lot better guns and artillery than we had too. There was this one cannon found. There was actually it was it was shown off at one of the old fairs. I believe it was the Chicago Exposition it was shown at. And this cannon was electrically powered. So electricity is what flung the projectile out of the rifled barrel. It was a rifled barrel for a cannon too, by the way. And the rifling was so big, and the projectiles were so big. And just the cannon itself was probably, if you can see my cursor, probably from right here to about right here. That's how long the cannon was. It was just insane. And the other thing I want to say about the structure is it obviously took some impacts right here. And you see how these bricks are all different sizes? That means that this fort was built in a hurry for war. It was built in a hurry. That's how you tell. That's how I tell, at least, that things were built in a hurry and things were built out of necessity, is because they'll be all different sizes of bricks. Very, very cool. That was on the Barbary Coast, too. This is also the Barbary Coast. Right here. And this is Algeria as well. This is another city that's just stranded in the middle of nowhere on the coast. Ancient bridge. Really cool. I can't imagine how much weight that bridge could take. Like, it's just amazingly built. This is an ancient suspension bridge. As you can see, this is old world architecture. And, it's a suspension bridge from the... I believe this suspension part is also from the old world, too. Because we don't build things like this anymore. Not that good, at least. This is also a picture of the Barbary Coast. This was this is an ancient... Not ancient, but this is a picture of an ancient culture. Okay, of the people of Algeria. This was taken in 1924. Really, really old photo. So, initially, under Ottoman rule, Algeria was then taken over by King Charles in 1830 when the French invaded. Kind of genocided the people. It became a French colony, then became part of France in 1848. The French exploited them. Mid-20th century rolls around. War breaks out. Over 1 million dead. France claims only 400,000, but I believe the Algerians over the French any day. They got their independence in 1962 after many rebellions. Then there's been many initial conflicts since. Large oil and gas reserves. That's one of the reasons they've been messed with so much. President El-Majid, I'm probably butchering his name. El-Majid Tebboune, also commander of the armed forces, is the president today, and he has an army of 130,000. He has reserves of 335,000 as of today. Another picture of Algeria. This is another photo. See how there's all desert surrounding this? Pretty cool. Then this was also the Barbary Coast. Look at the road. Like how strong of a road that would have to be to last that long. Amazing. This is a really fascinating photo. You guys see these gears? Like I'll zoom in. Look at that. Look at those teeth. Okay? These were gears to a massive ancient machine. See the cut marks here? See that? Saw marks? See how these pillars were carved? Like, the ancient peoples were very technologically advanced, too. This is another picture of Algeria, one of the cities in the middle of the desert. This was kind of an old cathedral-like structure. Okay? And, yeah, I'd imagine there was a speaker here, because there's a city behind this. I'll show you the next picture, okay? A speaker would be here. All the people from this city in Algeria would have to sit around in these stands and listen to the speaker here, probably the mayor of the town. This is the town I'm talking about. Okay, this completely stone town where everybody lived. This is where town meetings were held, I'd imagine. This is where the mayor would speak, or the leader of the village or town. And you can see these are all new buildings, newer buildings over here, okay? So before these buildings were even there, this town would have been surrounded by miles and miles of desert, completely isolated from the outside world. I really wonder why. This is a modern Algerian city with an old world building, just looking over it. Very, very beautiful cathedral. Very beautiful. Love it. This is another, no more pictures of the Barbary Coast. This is more modern construction. This is like Tartarian construction, though. This is not our civilization building this. This is probably from the civilization before the last civilization, so it'd be two civilizations before us. And like, look at all these doorways. Everything in the old world was built with a purpose, But like, why all these openings? It just makes you wonder, And there's that, the same thing as we seen before. It's kind of like a stadium seats a little bit, and you have the speaker down here. Really, really amazing stuff. There's another picture of just randomly in the middle of the desert, just an old structure there. More photos, more photos. Look at that statue. Looks like somebody was maybe petrified. Alright, let's keep going. This is a really awesome photo of the old world. I forgot what city that was from. Some more old world photos. Look at old world factories. These factories were not here. We did not build these. I promise you. Promise you that. Very old world building. This is in St. Louis. Both these are in St. Louis right here. Sorry for the blurriness. This is another old world. I believe this is also St. Louis. It could be a different state though, but this is America right here. This is old world America. Also old world America. The Tower of Jewels is what they called it. Very beautiful, tremendous detail. They had electricity back in the day too. They don't want to tell you that either. They don't want to tell you this Freemasonic douchebag with a kite and a key let that thing fly in there and it got hit by lightning, and that's how you discovered electricity. What a joke! It's just funny at this point. The lies. This is from the World's Fair, but this has been here forever. These buildings. That's just Chicago Exposition, right here. This is Paris. This is also Paris, right here, before they destroyed it. That's also Paris, and I believe this is... I can't remember off the top of my head where this was from, but this is an old world kind of drawing, it looks like. This was in Detroit, I'm pretty sure. This was in Detroit, I'm almost positive. I believe this building was too. Very beautiful. Look at that. Look at that dome. Look at these pillars. Like, can you imagine how much each one of these weighs? And all of those are marble or granite. Just putting them in place without them breaking down, I don't even know how you do it. Now we're gonna move. Sorry, guys. Now we're gonna move on to Dresden, Germany. During World War II, over 3 million Germans were burned alive by nighttime bombing raids. All civilians, and 500,000 of them were children. They would drop normal bombs first to open up the structures, then after fire bombs to light on fire the exposed insulation and upholstery, turning Dresden into a giant oven that cooked millions, melting many into the streets themselves. I've seen the pictures that were melting under their feet. I've seen pictures and I'm speechless seeing what the Allies did to the civilians. In a future video I will prove this to you. I promise I will prove it. This section is dedicated to all those who lost their lives in the war, especially those women and children. This is Dresden. Old world structures in Dresden. Look at the sky, so beautiful. You know something? Okay, so where all these old world structures are and these antennas are, because they weren't originally crosses, by the way. They're originally just antennas. And it's just amazing. Like, just the beauty of the sky above these buildings some days. It's just mind-blowing. This is also Dresden. I love the bridge here. Just like, can you imagine how much weight you could drive over this bridge? It's just wild. You got some amazing. Sorry. You got these amazing sculptures here, amazing buildings. This is all Dresden as well. You got that giant antenna on top. These antennas. Sorry, I'm going so fast, guys, but I've tried to film this like 10 times, and it's not letting me film like over a half hour. And it's like shutting off automatically. It's doing a lot of weird stuff, my computer is. That's why I'm rushing through it. Sorry about that, guys. So, this is 1880. This is 2008. This is black and white, and this is color. This building has always looked like this, I'd imagine. Another beautiful drawing of Dresden. You got that same bridge that I just showed you earlier. Look at this. Look at these people just sitting here. And these are big people, guys. Like, if you see this man right here compared to this man's 12 feet tall, 12, 14 feet tall. Compared to that guy who's 5 feet tall, People used to be bigger in the old world. Everybody wonders why the statues of them are so big. It's because they were big. Okay? Another amazing building in Dresden. You got those statues as well. And these buildings are massive, guys. They are completely massive. And all the details, just amazing. You got the gold leafing right here, and I believe this is real gold. I'm almost positive. Okay, then you have this old world massive building behind it. This is... I'm trying to remember which building this is, but this is one of the prized jewels of Dresden. Right here. Like, look at all these statues, all this detail. Well, we don't build things like this today because we can't. Nobody's good enough today to build things like this. Or we're not creative enough. Or something. But another old world building. It would be extremely hard to build these buildings today too. And honestly, I don't even think we have the engineers and architects who even could build these buildings. I really don't think we can. I really don't. I don't believe we could. So this right here is the lighting, as you can see. This is all these buildings lit up at night, which just makes them more beautiful. I like the lighting that they do with them. I do. Now, this is the sky, like I was talking about earlier, how they have such beautiful skies over these buildings. Like, look at this rainbow, just encompassing this building. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Another picture. Look at the sky. And look how patchy the sky is. Like, is the antennas affecting the sky and making it do that? It's interesting stuff, That's the gold leaf. And that's the same thing we've seen before. That's the building behind it. Yeah. Look at these angels. These angel statues. It's just amazing. Amazing sky. Alright, now we're moving on to Prague. Now I'm going to have to go a little bit faster because I don't want this to shut off. Then I'll lose everything I already did. Which sucks. I just wish I could just film as long as I want, but my computer's not letting me. So this is Prague. This was in the former country of Bohemia, now Czechoslovakia. This section is dedicated to my mother and my grandpa, who were 100% Bohemian, and to the lost country of Bohemia where my ancestors are from. This is Prague right here. And my mother and my grandpa have both recently passed away. So this is dedicated to them. This is an old map of Bohemia. Really interesting old map. Then this is another map of Bohemia showing Prague towards the center and showing Bavaria, Moravia, Prussia, a bunch of countries that don't exist anymore. Well, the land still exists, the people still exist, but it's named differently. Another map, Bohemia with Prague right here, Moravia, Then you got, let's see, this is the Bohemia coat of arms, I think. This is the Czech one, the Moravian one, and the another Czech one of some sort. That's Prague as well. Look at that bridge. Just these bridges are just built so well. You know, you can drive tanks over these bridges, no problem. You could literally have tanks back to back on this bridge, and it wouldn't even budge at all. This is another picture of a bridge in Prague. I don't think it's the same one, but or is it the same one? You know, let's figure that out real quick. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same one. Look at these statues going up and down the bridge. Like while you're walking, you can appreciate these statues. And this could hold as many tanks as you could fit on it. That's how much weight this bridge could support. This is another old world buildings, and this is one side of it, and this is the other side of it. This is a church in Prague. This is the inside of that church. This is also another room inside that church. Look at the detail the old world used to build these structures. Really amazing. Another picture. More pictures. Old Gothic style church. I love that Gothic style. I love it. Another old world building. You got the angels up here. You know, a lot of people believe that angels actually helped build the old world. You know, there's actually skeletons of people found in the Americas with wings. Like their skeletons had wings. So people used to have wings, guys. There used to be people with horns, people with wings, and I'll prove this in a later episode. I guarantee you that. This is the German army marching through Prague to protect Prague from the Bolsheviks. Let's see here. This is another bridge, or that might be the same bridge actually we seen earlier. This is another bridge. Not sure when this one was built. I believe it's still old world though. Definitely seems like it. You know, another shot of, I believe this might be a different bridge. I'm not sure. This is a drawing of Prague. You know, a drawing of old world Prague, as you can see by the clothes. Beautiful church right here. Another beautiful building. That same bridge. Now this is not in Prague. This is in another place in Bohemia. Well, it was called Bohemia. This is in Czech Republic, modern day Czech Republic. Giant Tartarian building that's still standing. Beautiful. Another old world buildings. More old world buildings. This is a castle in Bohemia, okay? Has a Tartarian coat of arms with the two griffins mounted on it. Got the Czech flag up there. This is another view of the castle, okay? With the Tartarian coat of arms right there and a beautiful Czech woman. Top it all off. This is another... Oh, damn it. Sorry. This is another picture of the castle. Look at the antenna on top. This antenna created enough electricity to power this whole building back in the day. The higher you go up, the higher the voltage is. This has been proven. I'll show that to you in another video. This is Prague. This is the clock. One of the clocks in Prague, where it shows the sun and the moon and how they rotate around our realm. We don't rotate around the sun, guys. The sun and the moon rotate around us. We are literally in God's creation. And God has a dome that protects us on top of a wall of ice that borders our known lands. And I can prove it in a court of law. And I will prove it in a future video. But you guys can believe what you want to believe. I'm not telling any. Don't ever think I'm telling you what to believe. I'm just telling you what I believe, and I'm showing you guys I'm just trying to teach you guys how to think too. If something doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. And that's something I can't say enough. Because everything these overlords tell us doesn't even make any sense. There's literally nothing our government tells us usually that makes any sense. If you really do research and dig down into what they're really saying, none of this shit makes sense at all. Alright, anywho, this is another building, another cathedral in Bohemia. Sorry, I shouldn't have skipped over that quick. Okay, this right here, these collect electricity, okay? These crosses on here, and these are resonators. Okay, so what happens is that the ether in the air connects to this. Then the power resonates through this and gets increased. Then it gets shot down through the rest of the building. Now, they've disconnected a lot of these systems that used to be, around in the old world, but some of them still fire up, though. There's some buildings in Detroit that aren't plugged into the grid, but they have lights on. It's amazing. This is a very old world symbol too. The Rothschilds claimed it was their symbol of Judaism, but it's not. It literally has nothing to do with Judaism, really. It's actually an old world symbol that was here before them. Okay. And by the way, there's no people on this earth that are God's chosen people. Anybody who's claiming to be God's chosen people is of the devil. And you guys need to realize that. And you need to realize it quick. Okay? There's all these Ashkenazi Jews that are in power. I have nothing against Jews. But there's great Jews. Very good Jews. But the Jews that are in power are not good. And they're not God's chosen people. I'm telling you that right now. And that's something you guys need to research on your own and come to your own conclusions about. Because you'll come to the same conclusion that I'm telling you right now. That's what you'll come to. Because there's not a bunch of dumb people watching my programs. I know that. Smart people click on videos like this because they want to learn. Or they want to see the old world. Or they want to expand their mind. Smart people like to expand their mind. So I'm sure you guys will get the hang of it, and you guys will understand exactly what I'm talking about in no time. So I wanted to go over this building a little bit. So you see this mural right here. I'm not sure if this is the original or this was added. Pretty sure it was the original. Let's see here. You got what looks like a griffin right here. And you got these statues of these people. This is kind of weird. You got these beings holding up this glass, like circular structure. I don't know what that represents. That's something I'm going to have to dig into. Another one of those bridges. Same one, I think, actually. Actually, yeah, I think this is the same one from earlier. I'm pretty sure. I might have got some of my pictures mixed up. My bad. This is another old world building in Bohemia. A really beautiful one. Another old world building with giant resonators. These are resonators, guys, and these are antennas to power the building. They go off the grid now, but they used to power themselves. They still can if you hook it back up. Look at this old world road. Same building. This old world road. I mean, this road's been there forever, and it's going to be there forever unless it's destroyed by the parasites. Another old world building, giant columns, giant statues, extreme detail, definitely Tartarian in my eyes. Berlin, Germany. We'll move on to Berlin. During World War II, over 100,000 soldiers were lost on both sides during the Battle of Berlin. Hundreds of thousands of civilians, mainly women and children, were slaughtered by the Allies. Thousands of women and children were tortured and raped by the Bolshevik, Khazarian communist soldiers and officers. All the officers, or most of the officers in the army, the Soviet army at that time, were Khazarians, Satanists. And that's why they did this to the German people, okay? The propaganda you guys hear about the Germans couldn't be farther from the truth, by the way. I'm going to get into that in a future video about World War II. I'm still working on it, but I wanted to release some content in between. The Russians took the city. The Khazarians gave the orders and took part in raping and torturing anyone left alive, including men too, by the way, guys. These Khazarians they're the ones promoting the trans ideology. They're the ones promoting the gay ideology. They're the ones promoting a white woman to be with a black man. Which I'm not racist, but you know what Muhammad Ali said? Bluebirds flock with bluebirds, redbirds flock with redbirds, and pigeons flock with pigeons. This next section is dedicated to the women and the children who were raped and tortured and killed by the communists and allies. I'm sorry humanity failed you. Rest in peace. Now, this is a really cool picture, okay? I really like this. You know, you got this old world structure in the background, another old world church. I don't know how old this tower is, but it's very old worldish, for sure. I mean, it's just so freaking cool. This is another old world building. You have the Iron Cross up here, which is an old world symbol as well. It wasn't a Nazi symbol, neither was a swastika. That's what people don't know. All these symbols go back thousands of years, not hundreds. And you got these beautiful horses, which are amazing. Look at, like, you guys see the size of this column? And see the size of this person? Just imagine how much that column weighs. You're telling me. People try to say that, oh, well, they were just using hammers and chisels and wooden cranes and stuff. I want to see one person lift this up and stand it up with wood. A wooden crane. I want to see somebody do it. And I also want to see them cut it and shape it, too, and measure it, and not break it, too, as well. Because, these are extremely delicate, especially these columns. You know, a lot of them are marble and granite. They're really hard, but they can crack easy, though. You know, that's the thing. This is the Reichstag, I believe, which wasn't the original purpose of this building. Believe me. It wasn't originally meant to be a German headquarters, but that's what it ended up being. But look at the beautiful detail. You know, amazing. That's another picture of the same building during the day more. Another old world building. Giant resonator. You know, right here. Got another one here and here. You know, peace, war. Peace, war. So to all you guys that, you know, think you can handle World War III, just remember, peace, war. People, no people. Food, no food. Safety, no safety. Good times, hard times. Things look great. A horror movie. Just remember that. You want to go to war, this is where you're going. Alright, so we got a bunch of old world structures in this picture. Even some of these apartments blocks are old world too. It's not just the amazing structures, guys. It's also a lot of the other ones, too. This is obviously old world right here. This is, God, I forgot how many 1,000-pound bomb that didn't explode. And they kept it. Look at how big that bomb is. Like, you're telling me a freaking Satanist didn't build this? Yeah, you're out of your mind. This was built for good? No, sorry. This is a really, 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 really old church. Okay, right here. This is from Dresden. I know we're in Berlin, but this was from Dresden. I just wanted to include it in there. 1980 and today. You want to talk about fucking sad? Okay? Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Trying to swear less. I don't think swearing's good for anybody or anything. Not anymore. We got, these old world buildings here, old cars. These are our civilization's cars, though. These aren't Tartarians or Tartarian cars. Anyway, these right here are old world structures. These are New World, obviously. The satanic box structure. Really appealing. This is freaking awesome. This is an old world building. It's got all the statues just mounted into the buildings. Super cool, the angels. I really gotta get going here on these photos. Giant horse. This is the inside of a church in Berlin. So it's actually no inside of a museum. My bad. This is just a statue of a horse. This is in Dresden, too. Now we're going on to Munich. Munich, beautiful city. It was the capital city of the German Socialist Nationalist Movement. Over 70 Allied bombing raids of Munich by the Royal Air Force during World War II killed over 6,000 innocent civilians, mainly women and children. This section is dedicated to them. Kind of got to speed run through the rest of this. I know my computer is going to cut me off here at any second. This is the inside of the Arsamkirche Church in Munich, Germany. This is the old world. This is what the inside of buildings used to look somewhat like. This is all old world. We did none of this. Okay? Inside of the buildings used to look somewhat like this. This is the effort of the previous civilizations put into their work. They put work into it. They had technology we can't comprehend to make things like this happen. God, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry my speech is all messed up today. I'm really tired. I gotta rush through this before my computer shuts me off. I'm really sorry, guys. Next time, I promise I'll go slower and I'll explain things more thoroughly. This is another picture. Look at the ceiling. Let me zoom in on that real quick. Look at that. You want to talk about clues of what the old world was? Wow, it's just amazing. Amazing stuff. This is another more detailed picture. Just pause it, zoom in if you want, freaking take it in, Look at that. These are all precious metals, too, by the way, guys. This is not plastic. This is gold, silver, platinum. This is beauty, is what this is. This is true beauty. Look at the size of the people compared to the pillars. See, this is why I love this picture. Look at how big that pillar is compared to that woman. Look at how big it is compared to that man. Dude, look at how big the light pole is compared to that man. You can see the light pole on this side, too, compared to that person. And it's not just perspective. These things are actually really freaking big. These are probably gas-powered lights, too, from the old world, I'd imagine. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If I have earned your like and subscription, if I haven't, please tell me what I can do better in the comments. The only way to grow is to be challenged and criticized, so I welcome it. This series will be continued. My next video will be on Alcatraz, then the start of the World War II series. Please be kind and respectful to other living beings. Everything on and in the earth has as much right to be here as you do. Use discernment, and remember, if it doesn't make any sense, it's probably not true. No matter what the masses say, have a good day.